Hello, it's Rita and Kevin again from First Position, and this short video is going to introduce you to the motivational meta program about comparisons.
We have a little activity for you straight away, and pause the video if you would like for a few seconds. But what we would like you to do is to just write down your observations about what you are seeing on the screen now. So just pause the video, maybe take 10 seconds, write down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 observations, and then come back to us. Welcome back. So we'll come back to what you have written down there in a moment, because that may give us some clues about which end of the scale you are on with this particular meta program, which, as Rita says, is about comparison. Now, when we talk about the idea of comparison here, what we mean by that is the pattern is one of what we call sameness and difference. So there's our little visual clue for this one. And remember, the way these meta programs work is quite often there's a scale here with, in this case, sameness at one side, difference at the other side. And you may find that you are running very strongly the sameness pattern, or very strongly a difference pattern, or you may be somewhere in the middle. It may not be that significant for you.
Okay, and that sameness pattern, if we can talk about each of them, the sameness pattern is about looking for patterns in things, looking for similarities. So when you look at something, you notice the patterns, what's the same. So if we were to refer back to the coins, we might notice what might jump out to one person is there's 3 silver coins, or 2 bronze coins, or 2 coins of the same value, or 2 round ones. So what they're noticing is what's same and what's the similarities and the patterns in what they're seeing.
And remember, when we were talking initially about these idea of meta programs, they are very strong filters. So somebody running that sameness pattern would be looking for those similarities, those patterns. Somebody who is running that difference pattern is going to be noticing what's different about this particular set of information. In the case of coins, you might say, well, I noticed one coin was different to the others in this particular way. To get away from the coin analogy for a moment, if 2 people go into a meeting, one person who is running a sameness pattern will notice in what ways was this meeting the same as similar ones we've had, or you know, what's the pattern here that's emerging in all of these meetings. Somebody who's running the difference pattern will notice in what way is this different to what we did last time. So in that way, they're both very, very strong filters.
And they're filters just in the way we observe things, but they have got quite an impact on how we relate to things that are going on around us. So someone who's running a strong sameness pattern is likely to want things to stay the same. So when we're talking about transition and changes in life or work or something, they're going to not enjoy changing so often, so frequently, if at all. They'd rather things stay the same. They might go on holiday to the same place every year and enjoy that. They love that stability. They feel very comfortable. When things change for them, they may find it uncomfortable and not cope with that as well at all. And if they're at an extreme end, it may cause them stress and anxiety when things change around them. Whereas for the difference person running those patterns,
yeah, for the difference person, they're going to love it. They're going to really immerse themselves in any change, in anything that's different. And in fact, they're going to proactively seek out different things to do, different scenarios, and get very bored if things stay the same.
So what does that mean to us? What does it mean for ourselves, and what does it mean for how we get on with other people? Well, for ourselves, it's useful, first and foremost, noting where am I on that scale? Do I notice the patterns, or do I love things to be new and innovative and different, and I like things changing all the time? So first of all, to understand that, and to notice that in other people as well. So if I am someone who likes things the same and a change is happening around me, it'd be really useful for me to pause and remind myself, what is it that's similar or the same has always been? Because that will give me some comfort to know that. Likewise, if someone else is telling me to change, it'd be useful if they help to remind me what's the same, or it's only a slight difference. We've always done this amount like this, only a small change. That's going to encourage me to feel more comfortable with the change if I'm running a systems filter. Whereas for Kevin, sorry.
Yeah, for the people who are looking for difference, you know, what's going to really turn them on is this idea of innovation, variety, doing different things. They're going to get bored very quickly. Another aspect of this to think about, particularly if you are somebody in a position of maybe power and influence, maybe you're a leader in an organization, for example, sometimes leaders can be very strongly, particularly if they're starting out or coming into an organization, can be running a difference pattern. Now, that can have a very dramatic effect on those individuals who are running that sameness pattern. So become aware of you know, what your default is. And as Rita says, it would be useful to remind them, perhaps, and remind the organization of the things that are staying the same, and also acknowledging the good things that they've done in the past. You know, people can come in as a sort of new broom wanting to make a difference and move things on and make their mark, etc., which is great, but you need to bring along the other people in the organization as well, if that's the kind of sphere that you're operating in.
And there's that other interesting thing, isn't there? If you're an extreme end on different sorter, Kevin, how might I notice if someone was an extreme different sorter?
Well, at the extreme, there's what we call a mismatcher. And it would appear, and some of you will know these people, and it may be you, the mismatcher in a very extreme case will always be going against the grain, will always be at odds with the rest of the group. So, you know, if the group is all agreeing that we're going to go for a Chinese meal, the mismatcher will say, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, let's go for an Indian or whatever it might be. So, you know, these patterns can be very evident when they are run at the extremes, and you'll know who they are. And if you don't know who they are, it's probably you.
And like with all these patterns, it's useful to know your own, and it's useful to know other people's. We're talking about motivations here. So if you are wanting to motivate someone and you can explore, be curious, work out what their pattern is, you can utilize that either by selling all the patterns and sameness to the person in your proposal, or by selling the excitement of things being different to the other person who is running that different pattern. And that's how useful, that's an evidence of how useful the understanding of these meta programs are. So
and if it's a mixed audience, of course, you know, use both.
Yep. So with the group, you do a bit of both. So that's it on this meta program. So again, we'll invite you to stay curious and keep learning.